Have you ever stepped out into the cold just for a moment and felt your skin ripple with tiny bumps? Maybe it was a breeze you weren't expecting. Maybe it was a memory or a moment in music that made your whole body pause. Goosebumps. They arrive without warning. Soft little pinpricks across your arms, down your neck, sometimes even over your scalp. They don't hurt, they don't stay, but they come in waves. Quiet waves, and they leave just as mysteriously. Why does that happen? Why does the skin, your outermost layer, the soft border between you and the world, suddenly shift and tighten in such a tiny, precise way? What is the body trying to say? That's the question we'll follow tonight, not to chase an answer, but to walk with it. Slowly, gently. Like following a trail of breadcrumbs through a forest of breath and memory. You see, goosebumps aren't just a reaction, they're a story about survival, sensation, and the ancient instincts still living quietly inside your modern body. But before we begin, can I ask you something soft? Where in the world are you listening from tonight? Is it quiet where you are? Can you hear the wind or the distant hum of sleep all around you? If you're still awake, I'd love if you'd leave a comment and tell me what time it is where you are. Just a little moment of connection in this sleepy space. And if this video, this rhythm, this calm, this curiosity makes your body soften even slightly, I'd be honored if you subscribed. Not for numbers, not for fame, just to keep growing this gentle little corner of the internet. A space where rest is enough. And now that we're here and your breath has slowed, let's begin. The scientific name for goosebumps is piloerection. That's a fancy word, but all it really means is that tiny muscles in your skin, so small you'd never notice them otherwise, have pulled on your hair follicles. And that pull, almost invisible, causes the small hairs on your skin to stand upright. The bumps you see are just the shadows of those hair roots lifting slightly. That's all. But that's not really all, because behind that movement, there's a signal. And behind that signal, there's a purpose. Or at least, there used to be. To understand why goosebumps happen, we have to go back, way back. Not just to your childhood, not even to the earliest humans, but to animals, to the ones who still wear fur. When a cat feels threatened, its fur puffs up. When a porcupine senses fear, its quills rise. When a dog is cold, its coat thickens with lifted hairs to trap warmth. Goosebumps are the human version of that, an ancient instinct, a leftover signal from a time when we were covered in hair and when that hair served more than style. It kept us warm, it made us appear bigger in the face of fear, and it responded instantly to emotions we didn't yet have words for. So in a way, your goosebumps are a message from the past. They tell you something old is stirring, something deeper than thought. Maybe it's cold, maybe it's awe, maybe it's grief or danger or a moment of beauty. And in that flash, the body speaks, not with words, but with tiny ripples beneath the skin. That's where we begin our story, right at the edge of you, in the quiet place between the outside world and everything you feel inside. In the next part of our journey, we'll follow that signal deeper, through the nerves that send the message, the muscles that respond, and the heartbeat that quietly shifts every time your skin listens to something more than touch. But for now, just notice. Are you warm right now? Is your skin cool? Is there a part of your arm, just one spot, that feels like it might tingle? That's the body already paying attention, already beginning to remember, already preparing to explain something without using a single word. That's the beauty of goosebumps. They say so much by saying nothing at all. Now that we've opened the door to this quiet mystery, let's step a little deeper beneath the skin, into the tiny machinery that makes goosebumps possible. It's easy to think of them as just surface-level things. A visual ripple, a texture, something your fingers might brush over and forget. But behind each one, there's a whole process at work. Not big, not dramatic, just quiet, invisible, and astonishingly well-timed. Every hair on your body sits inside a tiny pit in your skin called a follicle, and beside each follicle, coiled like a sleepy string, is a miniature muscle called the erector pili. The name might sound scientific, but it simply means the muscle that raises the hair. That's its only job. It doesn't move bones. It doesn't carry weight. It doesn't help you walk or chew or blink. It just lifts, softly, silently. And it only does so when your body sends a very specific message. That message comes from your autonomic nervous system, the part of you that handles things you don't consciously control, like heartbeat, like digestion, like the moment you suddenly shiver without warning. The autonomic system is divided into two halves. One half is sympathetic, like a gas pedal. It gets you ready, makes you alert, prepares your body for action. The other half is parasympathetic, like a brake. It helps you slow down, digest, and relax. Goosebumps are triggered by the sympathetic side. That doesn't mean they're a sign of stress or danger, necessarily. It just means they're part of the body's get-ready system. When you're cold, your body prepares to preserve heat. When you're emotional, your body prepares to respond. And in both cases, the message travels quickly, down your spinal cord, through bundles of nerves, into those little muscles beside each hair, and then a pull. Not painful, not harsh, just enough to make the skin ripple, just enough to lift the hair upright. In animals with fur, this has a clear purpose. Raised fur traps warm air close to the body, an instant insulating layer. It also makes the animal look bigger when threatened. Cats puff, dogs bristle, porcupines rise. Humans, though, we don't have enough body hair for the insulation to work, and we don't really puff up when we're scared. At least, not in a way that intimidates predators. But the signal still fires. The muscles still lift. The body still remembers. And that's what makes goosebumps so beautiful. They're not useful, not anymore. But they're still here, like echoes of ancestors whose bodies needed that lift to survive, like a whisper passed down through generations of skin and nerve. And your body carries it all, still. Even now, even lying still, even with no danger around. Goosebumps show us how much the body keeps, how it never really lets go of its oldest habits. But they also show how much the body trusts. It doesn't need permission to react, it just does. It sees cold, and it responds. It feels emotion, and it answers. Not with logic, but with movement. And the muscles beneath your skin, those tiny erector pili, respond instantly, without you ever noticing they were waiting. Have you ever had goosebumps only on one arm, or just on your scalp? That's because the nervous signal sometimes moves unevenly. It depends on your posture, your temperature, even the light in the room. Sometimes the muscles respond in patches, sometimes in waves. Sometimes, like wind across water, the goosebumps ripple slowly across your body in a pattern you can't predict. That's the nervous system at work, imperfect, alive, responding to dozens of tiny internal cues at once. And that's okay. You don't need it to be exact. You only need to feel what it's offering you, a message, a reminder that your body is still here, still listening, still preparing to hold you, protect you, respond for you, even when you aren't aware of it. That's what makes goosebumps so personal. No two people get them in the same way. Some people get them only in the cold. Some feel them when listening to music. Others when feeling awe, or fear, or nostalgia. That's because while the erector pili muscles are physical, the trigger isn't always physical. Sometimes it's emotional, and in those moments, your body becomes a translator. It takes something invisible, like grief or beauty or love, and turns it into texture, into sensation, into those soft hills rising across your skin. Your skin, after all, is your largest organ. It's where the inside of you meets the outside. It holds your heat. It registers touch. It breathes in the world around you. And when you feel something deeply, whether cold, emotion, or memory, your skin wants to say something back. And it does, through those tiny muscles, those ancient reflexes, those little hills that rise in silence and disappear just as quietly. Goosebumps may be tiny, but they are powerful. Not because they protect you now, but because they remind you of how your body used to protect you and how much of that instinct still lives inside you, waiting to respond with just a whisper of wind. In the next part of our story, we'll talk about why emotions, not just temperature, can cause goosebumps. Why a song lyric, a childhood photo, or a soft voice like this one might stir the skin as much as snow or shadow. But for now, I invite you to return to your own skin, to your arms, your shoulders, your neck, your back. Feel if anything has changed. Maybe the air feels cooler now. Maybe a memory surfaced. Maybe nothing happened. And that's okay too. Goosebumps don't need to appear to be felt. Sometimes the body responds invisibly. The muscles lift just slightly. The nerves adjust. The skin pays attention. Whether you notice it or not, the body has already begun listening. It's been listening the whole time, and that is enough. So far, we've gently wandered through the physical reasons behind goosebumps: tiny muscles beneath the skin, nerves firing without permission, a leftover reflex from fur-covered ancestors who needed warmth and warning. But not all goosebumps come from cold. Sometimes they arrive in moments that feel much warmer. Have you ever been listening to music, really listening, and suddenly felt a wave wash over your skin? Maybe it was a swell in the melody, a lyric you weren't expecting, a single chord that opened something soft inside you. Your body didn't move, the room didn't change, and yet your skin reacted. Goosebumps, quiet, instant, full of feeling. That's what this part of our journey is about, the kind of goosebumps that don't come from temperature, but from emotion, from meaning, from memory. This kind of reaction is sometimes called frisson. It's a French word that means shiver or thrill. But it's not a thrill of fear, it's a thrill of recognition, of connection. It's the body's way of saying something important is happening. Even if you don't know why. Even if the song is one you've heard 100 times before. Or maybe it's not music at all. Maybe it's a scene in a film, a sudden silence, a line in a book, a face, a voice, a place. These are the moments that stir the nervous system, not because there's danger, but because there's depth, because the boundary between you and the world thins, just for a moment. And the body, feeling that softness, that signal, responds. Not with thought, not with logic, but with a ripple across the skin. A soft electric lift that lasts only seconds but leaves something behind. Why does that happen? Why would a voice or a melody change the way your body feels? The answer lies in the brain. More specifically, in the way your brain processes emotion and sound at the same time. When you hear something moving, something that surprises you, swells suddenly, pauses at just the right moment, it activates parts of your brain responsible for emotion, memory, and pleasure. Your brain loves patterns, and when music breaks a pattern in just the right way, it gets your attention. That surprise, that shift, is interpreted as significance, as something that matters. And when something matters emotionally, your body gets involved. It sends a signal to the sympathetic nervous system, just like it does in the cold, just like it does in fear. But this time, the message is different. This time it's not protect yourself, it's open yourself. That opening of feeling, of memory, of meaning can feel intense. But your body doesn't panic, it just responds. With raised skin, with lifted hairs, with a moment of shared rhythm between breath and emotion. Some scientists believe this response evolved to strengthen human connection, to help us bond through shared experiences. Think of the songs that give you goosebumps. Often they're tied to something: a person, a place, a time. Or maybe they're not tied to anything specific, just a feeling you've never quite found words for. And somehow, the music found it first. In that moment, your body becomes more than just physical. It becomes resonant, like a tuning fork that someone struck gently, just once. That vibration moves through your skin, your nerves, your spine, and the goosebumps follow, not to protect, but to witness, not to shield, but to feel. This kind of goosebump is sacred because it means you're present. You're awake to something inside you, and your body is listening. Even if you weren't prepared, even if you didn't plan to feel anything at all. Some people describe this sensation as being moved to tears, moved to silence, moved to stillness. That's what emotion does when it runs deep enough. It moves us, and our skin reacts. Because it's not just a covering, it's a sensor, a mirror, a boundary that doesn't just keep the world out, it helps us feel it. And goosebumps? They're the softest possible signal that something reached you, something made it through. In some studies, people who get musical frissons regularly also tend to score higher in traits like openness to experience. That means they feel things deeply, they notice beauty, they let themselves be touched by sound, by art, by connection. And that's not weakness, that's awareness, that's presence. That's your body doing its quiet work, even when no one else sees it. So the next time a song moves through you and leaves goosebumps behind, don't rush past it. Don't shake it off. Pause. Feel the skin. Feel the breath. Feel the moment that made you feel. And thank it. That's your nervous system saying, you're alive. You're connected. Something just touched the deepest part of you, and I'm letting you know. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore how fear, both real and imagined, can also trigger goosebumps, why something as simple as a shadow or a memory can ripple through your skin like cold air, even when you're safe. But for now, let yourself float in this gentler version. Let the music in your life, real or remembered, play in your mind for a while. Let your breath rise and fall like a quiet symphony. And if a ripple comes across your skin, even the smallest one, welcome it. It doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you're scared. It just means you felt something. And that feeling was important enough for your body to answer back. Not all goosebumps arrive with beauty. Not all are born from song or wonder. Some come from the opposite, from fear. And tonight, we'll step softly into that space too, not to stir panic, but to understand the quiet alertness your body still carries from its earliest design. You've felt it before, that sharp stillness when something startles you, that tension in your arms when a sound comes from somewhere you didn't expect, that invisible prickle down your neck when the world feels unfamiliar. Goosebumps don't always ask why. They don't wait for facts, they simply respond, in an instant, because they were never meant to be slow. They were built for survival. Long ago, when humans were small, fur-covered and vulnerable, that sudden ripple across the skin meant one thing: prepare. Prepare for cold. Prepare for movement. Prepare for danger. And though we've outgrown the forests and caves and wild edges of early life, our bodies have not forgotten. Goosebumps are still triggered by the part of the brain responsible for detecting threat, the amygdala. It sits deep inside, watching everything you see, hear, and sense, faster than your thoughts, faster than language. And when it detects danger, it sends signals outward. Your heart speeds up, your muscles tighten, your breath shortens. And those tiny erector pili muscles, Remember them? They pull. The hairs lift. The skin tightens. It's not random. It's preparation. Your body, without asking you, is getting ready. Even now, when the danger is a car horn, or a stressful message, or just a thought you can't quite explain, the body still prepares. Goosebumps still rise, and while they no longer make you warmer or larger, they still carry the message, stay alert, not to frighten you, but to keep you ready. And here's what's beautiful. The body also knows when to stop. Just as quickly as the goosebumps appear, they begin to fade. The skin softens, the hairs lie down, the heart returns to rhythm. That's the difference between fear and danger. Fear is a signal, danger is a fact, and sometimes your body confuses the two. That's okay. It means your body cares. It means your body still watches, but it also means you have the power to guide it, to show it when the threat has passed. That's what you're doing right now, by resting, by listening, by learning. You're building the bridge between awareness and peace. You're teaching your nervous system that not every ripple needs a wave, that not every goosebump means something is wrong. Sometimes it means your body noticed something, and that's all. You can even talk to your fear. You can say, "Thank you for trying to protect me, but I am safe now." Those words might feel small, but your body hears them, and the skin listens. That's the beauty of fear. It doesn't last forever. It rises, it moves through you, it leaves, and the body, once prepared, is always willing to soften again. There's a reason so many people feel goosebumps when watching horror films, even though they know it's fiction. The body responds anyway, not because it's fooled, but because it was trained to act. Goosebumps are a reflex, not a decision. And that's what makes them honest. They're the body's language. Simple, unfiltered, ancient. A shadow in a hallway, a creak in the floor, a dream that feels too real, a word that lands too sharply. All of these things can stir the skin before you even know you're afraid. And then the goosebumps arrive, but just as quickly they pass. And that moment, when the body begins to let go, that's where healing begins. That's where your breath comes back to you. That's where your voice returns. That's where your heart finds steadiness again. So if goosebumps come to you in the night, not from music, but from fear, know this: it's not a flaw. It's not your body failing. It's your body remembering. And you can remind it of something softer, with light, with warmth, with stillness, with breath. The same skin that rises in fear can settle into sleep. The same muscles that once braced for danger can now rest against a pillow. The same nerves that flinched can now stretch, and the goosebumps that felt sharp can begin to fade, like mist in morning light. In the next part of our journey, we'll look at how temperature, simple, physical, cold, triggers goosebumps too, and how that cold sensation carries memory, emotion, and even comfort. But for now, if you're still listening, return to your breath, return to your body, return to the skin along your arms, your back, your shoulders. Has it settled? Has it softened? Even if it hasn't, that's okay. You're not rushing anything. You're not trying to erase the fear. You're just staying with it, like sitting beside someone who's scared, not to fix them, just to say, "I'm here." And in that moment, the body listens, the heart slows, the goosebumps fade, and safety returns. There's a kind of stillness that only comes with cold. It doesn't rush. It doesn't speak loudly. It just arrives, soft as a breath, quiet as a hush, and wraps itself around you. Maybe you've felt it walking outside on an early morning when the world is pale and blue. Maybe you've opened a window just wide enough to let a breeze drift in, and that breeze brushed across your arms like fingers. And then it happens. Tiny bumps. A shiver without warning. Goosebumps, born not from fear, not from feeling, but from air alone. Cold air, fresh air, air that touches your skin and speaks a language you didn't even know you understood. This is the body's oldest reason for giving you goosebumps. It's simple. Warmth is precious, especially for creatures who lived long ago in places without coats, blankets, or central heating. When cold air touched their skin, the body's immediate reaction was to hold heat in. The tiny erector pili muscles, the same ones we spoke of earlier, contracted. Hair stood up, and that lifted hair created a thin layer of trapped air between the skin and the cold. A barrier, a shield, a soft insulation against the wind. It worked well in animals with thick fur. In humans, not so much. Our hair is too fine, too sparse, but the response remains, still wired, still waiting, still willing to help. And that's why you still get goosebumps when you're cold, even when it's only for a moment, even when the air is barely more than a whisper. It's not about how cold it is. It's about how quickly the skin changes temperature. Your body is always trying to keep your internal environment steady. That balance is called homeostasis. It's your body's way of saying, no matter what happens out there, we will protect what's in here. And when the air cools the skin, the brain receives that signal. The sympathetic nervous system activates. Goosebumps form. Blood vessels beneath the skin narrow, a process called vasoconstriction. This helps preserve core warmth. It's all part of a dance, a conversation between temperature and touch, between skin and wind, between what's needed and what's possible. But there's something else too, something gentler. Because cold doesn't just trigger a physical response, it also stirs the mind. How many memories do you carry that begin in the cold? A winter walk, a morning stretch with bare feet on the floor, a holiday, a goodbye, a first snowfall, a fire lit in the quiet. Cold brings presence. It slows the world down. It brings you back to your body, to your breath, to the rhythm beneath your skin, and when that cold touches you, the body remembers. Goosebumps appear, not just for warmth, but for awareness, a reminder that you are here, that this moment is real, that your skin still feels everything, even now. Some people find that cold air clears the mind, sharpens it. That's not a coincidence. Cold activates your alert system, but if there's no threat, just stillness, it brings clarity. That's why cold plunges, cold showers, or winter walks are sometimes used as grounding tools. They reset you, they return you, and goosebumps, they're part of that return. They mark the moment. They say, something just changed, something just reached you. And your body, always listening, always honest, answered back. Have you ever felt goosebumps on your scalp, along your spine, not just your arms? That's the skin's full body attention. The nervous system reaches everywhere, and when cold brushes past your shoulders, your back, your neck, it responds in unison, like a field of grass swaying together, like a signal traveling through a line. That unity is part of what makes goosebumps feel so complete, so present, and so brief, because they don't last long. They do their work in seconds. Then they go, and the skin settles again, the hair falls, the muscles rest. But the feeling often lingers, a quiet awareness, a softness, a moment that's just a little more alive than the one before it. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore how emotions and cold often blend together, how sadness and beauty sometimes arrive with the same chill, and how the body, confused but caring, responds with a ripple across the skin. But for now, notice the air around you. Is it warm? Is it cool? If you move the blanket just slightly, could you feel the air touch your shoulder? And would your skin notice? Not with words, not with thought, just with response. That's all goosebumps are. A response, an answer, a conversation between the world and your skin. And whether the message is cold or old or emotional, your body receives it with care. So if you feel a tingle now, even just a whisper of lift, welcome it. You are alive. You are sensing. And your body is doing exactly what it was meant to do. Not every feeling that causes goosebumps is sharp. Not every shiver comes from fear or cold. Some come from something gentler, slower, and harder to name. Sadness, longing, awe. Those strange, full-body feelings that rise quietly in the background of a moment. They don't demand attention the way fear does. They don't shock the system like a sudden gust of cold. They simply stir. And the body, in its wisdom, responds to even those whispers. Have you ever been sitting alone and remembered something beautiful and suddenly your arms tingled? Or watched a sunset so quiet and complete it brought a lump to your throat and your skin seemed to ripple? Or heard a voice tremble with honesty and felt your neck, your back, your arms respond? These are emotional goosebumps. They're different, not reactive, reflective. They arrive when something bypasses thought and touches you in a deeper way, something you weren't prepared for but felt completely. In these moments, the nervous system isn't shouting, it's listening. The sympathetic system, the same one that responds to cold and fear, activates briefly but not in alarm, in recognition. It's saying, this matters, this moment matters, even if you don't know why. Some scientists believe this kind of response is tied to the reward centers in your brain, the same places that process connection, bonding, meaning. When we experience something deeply emotional, the body activates the skin just as it does in physical threat, but not to defend, to mark the moment. Goosebumps become a physical punctuation to an internal sentence. Something is happening. You are feeling it. You are here. This is part of why people describe emotional moments with language like chills, shivers, waves. Because the experience doesn't just stay in the mind, it moves through the body. And the skin, always the mediator, responds. But it doesn't end there. Sadness can also bring goosebumps, not loud sadness, not explosive grief, but quiet sorrow, the kind that sneaks in through the back of a memory, the kind that sits beside you in silence, the kind that carries beauty with it, like a story told by someone who's lived it. This type of sadness stirs the same reflex. The nervous system doesn't always know whether it's being overwhelmed by pain or beauty. It only knows that something powerful is happening, and so it listens, it reacts, the skin lifts, the hair rises, the breath catches, and for a moment the body stands still, not in fear, but in reverence. This is why people often feel goosebumps when they cry, especially when tears come softly, slowly, when emotion breaks the surface like a ripple, not a wave. In that moment, your nervous system shifts. Your parasympathetic system, the part that allows you to rest, digest, and release, begins to rise. And yet, just before that shift, the body may respond one last time to the weight of the feeling. Goosebumps, a transition, a bridge from intensity to stillness. It's a goodbye wave from the emotion as it leaves. Some even get goosebumps when they speak something hard out loud for the first time. A truth, a fear, a story they haven't told. That rush of honesty can wake the nervous system, like throwing open a window. The air rushes in, the skin responds, and the body quietly says, "I heard that." Even love can bring goosebumps, not just romantic love, but all kinds. Parental, spiritual, quiet. When someone holds your hand in silence, when a child says something true, when a stranger helps you unexpectedly. These aren't adrenaline-fueled experiences, but they matter. And your body, which has no words for awe or tenderness, lifts your skin instead, just for a moment, just to say, "That moved me." And then it's gone. That's part of the magic. Goosebumps don't linger. They visit, they mark, they leave, but the echo stays. The memory of that skin-deep moment of connection stays, and you remember it, not just with your mind, but with your body. In the next part of our journey, we'll look at how some people are more prone to goosebumps than others, and what that says and doesn't say about their sensitivity. But for now, if you're still with me, I invite you to remember a moment, not a scary one, a beautiful one, a quiet one. Picture it softly. Let the memory rise, let your breath stay slow, and see if the skin remembers. Not because it must, but because it might, because it cares, because you're still alive, still capable of feeling. And sometimes that's all the body needs to react. A small truth, a soft moment, a reason to remember. So if a tingle stirs now, welcome it. It doesn't mean you're sad. It doesn't mean you're scared. It just means you felt something real, and your skin listened.
Isn't it interesting how some people feel goosebumps at the slightest shift in feeling, while others seem untouched by the same moment? One person hears a single note in a song and their skin responds immediately. Another stands in the cold and doesn't feel much at all. It's not because one person is better or stronger or more emotional. It's something far simpler, your body's level of sensitivity. Some nervous systems are more reactive, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a quiet, tuned-in way. They pick up subtle shifts, sounds, emotions, light, tone, and they respond. That response may come through breath, through tears, through stillness, or through goosebumps, tiny signals that the body is paying attention, that something reached you, even if you didn't expect it. Studies have shown that people who frequently experience goosebumps from emotional triggers often score higher in a personality trait called openness to experience. That doesn't mean they're extroverted or adventurous. It means they feel things. They notice art, music, silence, beauty. They're moved by things that others may overlook. That trait, openness, isn't a skill. It's not a choice. It's a way of being, and for those who carry it, the body often echoes what the heart feels. Goosebumps become a second language, a translation of sensitivity into skin. But even this trait exists on a spectrum. Some people may rarely feel physical reactions but still have deep emotional lives. Others may react strongly to temperature but less so to emotion. And some may feel goosebumps every single day, on buses, in conversations, alone in thought. There's no rule, no right way to feel. Your body's response is yours alone. A pattern shaped by genetics, memory, experience, and presence. That's the beautiful part. Goosebumps are one of the few physical responses we don't learn. They're already there, from childhood, from birth. And how often they appear depends not just on emotion, but on how your brain is wired to interpret the world. For some, the signal from brain to skin is quick, sharp, automatic. For others, it's more reserved. Not because of failure, but because of difference. And that difference is what makes us human. You may have noticed how children seem to feel more openly. They laugh without restraint. They cry without shame. They speak their awe out loud. In many ways, their bodies still respond freely too. Goosebumps, shivers, giggles, they come without permission. As we grow, we learn to filter more. We pause. We think. We hesitate. But the body doesn't forget. Even if the reactions become quieter, they're still there. They can be woken up again, not forced, but invited. That's part of what this sleepy space is about. Relearning how to feel softly, safely, slowly, with your body, not against it. If you're someone who rarely feels goosebumps, that's okay. It doesn't mean you're cold. It doesn't mean you're disconnected. You may express your sensitivity differently, through words, through silence, through thought. Goosebumps are just one doorway into awareness, not the only one. And if you're someone who feels them often, if your skin reacts to poetry, to songs, to memories, to kindness, know that this is a gift. You're not overreacting. You're not too much. You're attuned. Your nervous system is present. Your skin is listening. And in a world that often asks us to numb, to rush, to quiet down, your ability to feel is something to be honored, not controlled, not hidden, honored. It means you haven't stopped noticing. You haven't stopped letting the world in. And your body, in turn, hasn't stopped responding. That's a soft kind of strength. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore how goosebumps fade, why they last just a moment, and what that tells us about the nervous system's gentle rhythm of response and release. But for now, if you're still with me, I invite you to reflect gently on your own body. Do you notice goosebumps often? Rarely? Do they come with cold, with feeling, with certain memories? There's no quiz here, no conclusion, just observation, just noticing. That's all the nervous system really wants: to be noticed, to be thanked, to be heard. So tonight, if the skin stirs even slightly, let it. Don't chase it, don't analyze it, just feel it. And let your body know it's safe to feel. If you've ever paid close attention to your goosebumps, you'll notice something curious. They don't last. They don't stay with you the way a heartbeat does, or a breath does, or a steady feeling does. They come, and then they're gone. One moment your skin is alive with tiny peaks, almost electric in sensation. The next it's smooth again, quiet again, like it never responded at all. Why is that? Why would the body create something so precise, so immediate, only to let it vanish within seconds? That's what we're going to explore now, the soft vanishing act of goosebumps, the way they arrive with such purpose and leave with almost no trace. At the center of this mystery is your body's natural rhythm, its desire not just to react, but to recover. You see, goosebumps are a part of your sympathetic nervous system, the GO system. It kicks in during moments of stress, cold, awe, memory, emotion. But just as importantly, it has a partner. The parasympathetic nervous system, the rest system. Its job is to gently tap the shoulder of the first and say, "It's okay now. You can stop." Your body doesn't want to stay on high alert. It wants to return to peace. It wants to come home. And the moment it senses that the moment has passed, whether it was a breeze, a song, or a memory, it begins to unwind. The erector pili muscles let go. The hair falls back. The blood vessels open slightly again. The skin smooths. You might not even notice the change, but it's happening, softly, efficiently, constantly. This is called recovery. And it's one of the most beautiful things your body knows how to do. It doesn't hold tension longer than it has to. It doesn't keep reacting to a moment that's already gone. It lets go. This letting go is why you don't stay shivering after a chill, why your heart slows after a scare, why your skin stops tingling after the song ends. Your nervous system trusts that safety has returned. And once it believes that, it gives you back your softness. That's why goosebumps fade. Because your body trusts you. It trusts the world. It trusts that not every signal means danger. And even when it's wrong, even when the fear wasn't real or the moment didn't last, it's willing to move on. That willingness is a kind of grace. And it teaches us something we often forget. We are built to recover, not to avoid every jolt, every emotion, every ripple, but to feel them and then rest. Think about how many times in a day your body does this. You hear a loud sound, your breath catches, your skin lifts, and then you realize it was nothing. And your body releases. You listen to music, you feel chills, and then the moment softens, and your body releases. You remember something sad, you feel your jaw tighten, your chest buzz, and then you breathe again, and your body releases. Goosebumps are not just reactions. They're proof that your body knows when to respond and when to return. They are punctuation, not paragraphs. A comma, not a chapter. A moment, not a story. And that's what makes them so comforting. They come, they mark the moment, they leave, and what's left behind is you, calmer, a little more aware, a little more connected, a little more in tune with the skin you live in. Some people worry when their goosebumps disappear too quickly. They wonder, did I lose something? But the answer is no. You didn't lose anything. Your body simply said, that was enough, and moved on. Others wish their goosebumps would stay longer, to hold the magic, to feel the emotion deeper. But part of the magic is in the leaving. Part of the beauty is that your skin knows when to return to rest. That return is what your body longs for, and it's what helps you sleep. It's what helps you heal, because the truth is, we aren't built to live in constant reaction. We're built for rhythm, rise, release, tension, softening. Goosebumps show us this in miniature. They arrive like sparks. They disappear like mist. And in that cycle, your body whispers, we're okay now. That's why they feel so human, because they're a perfect mirror of emotion itself. Real, intense, brief, meaningful, and gone. In the next part of our journey, we'll explore the poetic side of goosebumps, the way literature, culture, and language have used them to express what words often can't. But for now, I invite you to gently scan your skin. Is it calm, tingling, smooth? Are there tiny reminders of something you felt a few minutes ago, still lingering along your arms or neck? If not, that's okay. The fact that it's past is not a loss. It's a gift. The gift of safety returning, the gift of peace resuming, the gift of your nervous system choosing softness again. So let the moment be enough. Let the echo be enough. Let your skin rest now, knowing it spoke and was heard. There are some things in life that are too quiet to measure, too quick to fully hold, and yet too meaningful to ignore. Goosebumps are one of those things. They come without permission. They disappear without a sound. And yet, we talk about them. Often. We tell stories that begin with, I had chills, or that gave me goosebumps, or I felt it in my skin. And when we do, what we're really saying is, something touched me, something real, something I couldn't explain with logic alone. That's the poetry of the body, its ability to respond before the mind catches up. And that's why goosebumps live not only in science, but in stories, in metaphors, in songs, in film, in memory. Around the world, across languages and centuries, people have found ways to describe the sensation of being moved. In English, we say goosebumps, a funny little word that comes from the way skin resembles plucked goose flesh when it tightens. In French, they call it chair de poule, chicken skin. In Spanish, piel de gallina. In Hindi, rongte kade ho gai, my hairs stood up. In Chinese, it's GP gay da, also chicken skin bumps. Strange, isn't it, that so many languages describe the same thing using animals and texture, as if we all agree this is something primal, something physical, something we don't fully understand but recognize instantly. We don't need diagrams to explain it. We know what it means. And yet, poets have always tried. Writers describe goosebumps as the skin's memory, as the body's gasp, as the soul reaching the edge of its shell. In novels, a character's goosebumps often mean something's changed, a truth spoken, a moment arrived, a feeling returned. In movies, the music swells, the silence lingers, and we feel it. Not just in the scene, but in ourselves. That's why the phrase "gave me chills" doesn't mean fear. It means presence. It means this reached me. Even when we speak of ghosts or legends, we say, "It gave me goosebumps." Why? Because that's what we do when the seen and the unseen meet. When something crosses from imagined to felt, your skin responds, and language follows. In music too, we describe crescendos that raise goosebumps. In dance, we describe movement that sends shivers. Even in moments of silence, grief, truth, stillness, we describe the kind of quiet that gives you chills. This tells us something important, that goosebumps aren't just a physical reflex. They are a signal of emotional arrival, a full-body exhale, a moment where something hidden becomes visible. And because the experience is hard to explain, we wrap it in poetry, in stories, in shared phrases that carry meaning even when science can't fully define it. So the next time someone tells you, "That gave me chills," remember, they're not describing the cold. They're describing the moment their body agreed with their heart, the moment something struck the nerve that connects memory, sound, meaning, and skin. That moment is rare and precious and universally human. Even children, before they have words for feelings, will say, "That made my arms feel funny," or "That gave me sparkles." They're finding language for sensation, for the invisible, for the body's way of saying, "I'm listening." And long after the feeling passes, the story remains. You may not remember the science, but you'll remember the moment, the song, the person, the chill that didn't scare you, but told you something real had just happened. That's why storytellers cherish goosebumps. They know it's one of the few ways to reach beneath the surface, to touch a place in you that doesn't need explanation, just presence, just honesty, just resonance, and your body responds. Quietly, universally, goosebumps become the bridge between the world and you, between you and someone else, between today and a memory you didn't realize still lived in you. That's why it's okay to chase those moments, not for drama, not for attention, but to feel and to be felt. In the next part of our journey, we'll return to the body, exploring how stress and fatigue can influence your skin's responsiveness, and why rest allows those beautiful chills to return more freely. But for now, rest in this thought: your body speaks in poetry. And goosebumps are one of its favorite verses. Let the moment that gave you chills, whenever it happened, stay with you now. Let the feeling echo. Let your arms soften. Let your breath find rhythm. Because no matter what caused it, your body responded with honesty. And honesty is always worth honoring. There's a quiet truth about the body that often goes unnoticed, even by those who know it best. When you are tired, really tired, mentally, emotionally, physically, your skin begins to whisper less. The signals it once sent so easily, like shivers or chills or little electric moments of awareness, begin to quiet down. Goosebumps become fewer, the ripples become rare, and you might not notice it at first. You may just feel less moved by things, less stirred, less emotionally available, but your body notices. Your body always notices. This soft dimming is part of what happens when your nervous system is overwhelmed, not broken, just overused. When you've spent too long in states of tension or busyness or unspoken emotion, the system that controls your responses, your breath, your heartbeat, your skin, begins to slow its output. It's not a failure, it's a form of conservation. It's the body saying, I can't react to everything right now. I need to hold my energy. And one of the first things to fade is that surface response. The goosebumps, the shivers, the tingles, they begin to visit less often because those signals require presence. They require emotional openness. And when you're exhausted, you're not present. You're surviving, you're managing, you're trying to keep up. In that state, even beauty can feel distant. Even awe can pass by without touching your skin, not because you don't care, but because your nervous system has lowered its antenna. It's doing the best it can with limited space. So when someone says, I haven't felt goosebumps in a long time, or nothing really moves me lately, what they might actually be saying is, I'm tired, I haven't had space to feel. The body numbs itself, not to punish you, but to protect you from overload. It closes a few doors to prevent collapse, and here's the beautiful part, those doors aren't locked. They're just waiting for quiet, for stillness, for rest. When you begin to rest, not just sleep, but truly rest, the body begins to open again, not all at once, not in a rush, but gradually. The heart rate softens, the breath deepens, and eventually the skin begins to listen again. A song might bring a wave of warmth, a sentence might bring a tingle, a memory might send a ripple down your arm. It can feel surprising, even emotional, like a part of you returning you didn't know had gone missing. That's your nervous system reawakening. That's your skin remembering how to speak. And it begins with rest, real rest, not escape, not distraction, but presence, stillness, slowness, the kind of rest you offer yourself when you stop trying to fix everything, when you let your body breathe without a purpose, when you let your thoughts pass without needing to chase them, when you listen to something soft like this voice and allow your muscles to stop preparing for the next thing. That's the gateway. That's how goosebumps return, not with effort, but with softness. And if you haven't felt them in a while, please don't be hard on yourself. You are not numb, you are not broken, you are just overused, and your body is trying to find its way back. Let it move slowly. Let it relearn what it means to feel something fully. Goosebumps are a sign that your system has space again, space to respond, space to connect, space to feel the moment without flinching from it. And the more you invite those moments, the quiet ones, the safe ones, the more your skin will remember. So if you're lying here now, listening to this, maybe already drifting into rest, let this be a kind reminder. There is nothing wrong with you if you haven't felt moved in a while. Sometimes the soul goes quiet, sometimes the body hides, but they always return. They always open again when given the chance. In the next part of our journey, we'll speak softly about how your environment can help that return, how light, warmth, scent, and sound can gently guide the nervous system back toward sensation. But for now, close your eyes if you haven't already. Feel the air on your skin. Don't search for goosebumps. Just make space for them. They'll come back when they're ready. And when they do, let them stay for a moment. Let your body speak. Let your body feel. Let your body be. Sometimes the body doesn't need words, it doesn't need explanations or deep thought, it just needs a signal. Something soft, something steady, something safe. These signals come through the senses, quiet messengers that speak to the nervous system even when the mind is busy. When your body has been holding too much for too long, when it hasn't been stirred by beauty or feeling or chill in weeks or months, these messengers arrive like a hand on the shoulder. Light, warmth, scent, sound. That's how the body begins to feel again. That's how goosebumps return. Not as a trick, not as a task, but as a natural result of the senses reawakening. Let's begin with light. Not bright, harsh light, but soft, golden light. Morning light spilling across a bed. Candle light flickering against a wall. Sunset colors painted across the sky. These aren't just visual experiences. They're emotional ones. Your eyes take in the softness, but it's your nervous system that responds. Gentle light tells your brain that you're not under threat, that this moment is not for survival. It's for noticing. It's for being. When light becomes safe, the body opens, the muscles loosen, the heart slows, and suddenly the skin begins to feel again. Goosebumps might rise, not from cold or fear, but from the sheer stillness of the moment. Then there is warmth, the comfort of it, the way it wraps around your shoulders or rests in your lap. A warm drink, a warm bath, a heavy blanket. These things aren't just cozy, they are cues. They speak directly to the part of your brain that regulates fear and calm. When your skin feels warmth, it tells your system, you're okay now. The threat has passed. You don't need to run. You don't need to shrink. You can rest. And when rest settles in, emotion often follows. Memory, music, thought. All of it moves more freely through a warm body. And the goosebumps, they're not confused. They rise, not in warning, but in recognition. I remember this feeling, they say. I can respond now. Scent, too, has its quiet power. Unlike the other senses, smell is directly connected to the limbic system, the part of your brain that holds memory and emotion. That's why a certain perfume can transport you instantly to childhood, or the smell of rain can bring a calm you forgot you needed. When scent enters the nose, it bypasses logic. It speaks to feeling. It reopens doors you didn't know were closed. And sometimes in that moment, standing in a kitchen or a garden, or simply breathing in something familiar, your skin responds. A tingle, a ripple, goosebumps. Not from the scent itself, but from the emotion it gently stirred. That's the body remembering it's allowed to feel again. And then, sound. The sound of a voice, the rustling of trees, the low hum of a heater on a cold night. Music, yes, but also quiet. Silence is a sound too, and your body listens. When the world around you softens in sound, your nervous system lowers its guard. It no longer listens for threat. It begins to listen for rhythm, for feeling. That's why lullabies work. That's why waves calm you. That's why even this soft voice here in your ear might carry a little weight, might reach your skin, might bring a wave. You're not imagining it. Your body is always listening, always feeling, always responding when the environment gives it space. These four senses, light, warmth, scent, sound, they are not decoration. They are medicine. They are how your body finds its way back to emotion. How your skin relearns how to lift, how to ripple, how to echo what you feel inside. And the more you give your senses something gentle to hold, the more likely your goosebumps are to return. Not for fear, not for cold, but for connection. Some people design whole rituals around this. They light candles, they play certain songs, they use specific teas or oils or weighted blankets. But you don't need anything expensive. All you need is intention. The intention to feel again, the willingness to slow down, the quiet choice to treat your body like something worth listening to, worth comforting, worth softening. Because when you do, the body responds, and the skin follows. That's how goosebumps work. They don't ask for attention. They don't demand proof. They simply show up when something matters. And these little sensory rituals, these moments you create with light, warmth, scent, sound, they matter to your nervous system, to your heart, to your skin. In the next part of our journey, our final chapter, we'll bring everything together. We'll thank the body for its honesty. We'll thank the skin for listening. And we'll close this story the way it was always meant to end, in softness, in stillness, in sleep. But for now, if you're still awake, I invite you to feel your environment, not with judgment, but with presence. Is there a light you like, a temperature you trust, a scent that soothes you, a sound that holds you? Let them in. Let your skin notice. Let your body believe. And when the goosebumps come, if they come, let them stay. Let them remind you that you are here, you are safe, you are still feeling. And now we've arrived slowly and gently at the end of this soft story. A story about something tiny, almost invisible. Something that comes and goes in seconds. And yet, something that speaks volumes. Goosebumps. You've carried them your whole life, though maybe you never stopped to wonder why. Tonight you did. You followed the path under your skin, into nerves, into muscles, into moments. You discovered that goosebumps aren't just cold. They aren't just fear. They aren't just random. They're a signal, a memory, a message, a small, ancient way your body still says, I feel this. Goosebumps are proof that the body is alive and paying attention, even when the mind is full, even when the world is fast, even when everything else feels numb. Goosebumps rise when emotion does, when awe finds you, when beauty catches you, when sadness reaches out its hand. And sometimes, even in silence, even in rest, they still whisper, "You're here," they say. You're still capable of feeling. That's something to honor. So tonight, let's honor it. Let's thank the body, not because it's perfect, but because it never stopped listening. Your skin never stopped being a bridge between the world and your soul. Your nervous system never stopped trying to protect you. Your breath never stopped anchoring you. Your heart never stopped beating for you. Even when you were overwhelmed, even when you didn't feel much at all, even when you forgot how to rest, they were all still there, quietly, gently waiting. And now, you've given them time. Time to respond, time to soften, time to remember what it means to just be. That is the work of healing, not fixing, just feeling, letting the body come home to itself. Letting the skin speak without fear, letting the chill be not a warning, but a recognition of music, of memory, of magic. And now, as this story nears its final breath, I invite you to let your body settle. Let your breath fall gently out. Let your shoulders sink into the bed. Let your eyes stay closed if they aren't already. Feel your spine rest. Feel the room soften. Maybe your arms feel a little warm. Maybe your back feels safe. Maybe the only thing left is the quiet beat of your heart and the distant echo of this voice. That's all you need. You don't need to do anything else. No more thinking, no more noticing, just being. Let this moment be the final ripple. If a goosebump rises, let it pass. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Your skin knows what it needs, and it knows it can rest now. You can rest now. Thank you for listening. Thank you for trusting this little corner of quiet. If this story gave you even one breath of softness, I'd be so grateful if you'd subscribe to this Sleepy Doctor Space. Not for me, but for everyone else who might need to find stillness too. And if you're still awake, you can leave a comment and tell me where you're listening from, or just say, "I'm here." That's enough, because you are here, still breathing, still softening, still safe. And whether you're drifting now or already asleep, know this: your body is holding you. Your skin is listening. Your heart is steady. The world can wait. You've done enough. You are enough. Good night.